Hey, hello, and happy Saturday, friends. Welcome into Saturday Morning Comics on the John's Comics with Friends YouTube channel. This is the Saturday morning show I've been doing for about 7 years now, going back through what am I reading, what am I watching, what have I been hanging out with and doing in my life. In the olden days, the days of yore, before teenagers, my daughters and I would sit on the couch and we would go through what they've been reading and they've been watching and they've been enjoying as well. So it's been a bit of a mixed match over the years of just basically the things going on in our little circle. I appreciate you all coming by and hanging out for a little bit today. Lots to discuss. I've been reading a ton. I've been reading so much. So there's so many things to review, so many things to talk about. I'm looking forward to hanging out and chatting with you, but we got to go through the chat first. Say hello to our friends in the live stream. So here we go. First off was Kevin from NCBD Comics. He commented so long ago, his comment doesn't appear in my StreamYard anymore, but my reply about 3 hours ago, that is still in the StreamYard. So there you go. Morning to you, Kevin. I wanted to include this link, which is pinned at the top of the chat, and I'll mention it several times. This is for my friend, the Bronze Age Nerds YouTube channel. He is going live in about 4 hours, and he is going to be doing a Heroes. So I clicked on it, but it didn't go. A Heroes for Heroes auction today. This is all to support veterans. It's a veterans charity called Mission 22 or the Till Valhalla Project. I support this charity every year. Sometimes through the auction, sometimes I just buy a new hat or a new shirt or something like that because I know that it supports our veterans, and I'm happy to do it. It's a really quality organization from what I can tell. So they are doing an auction over on the Bronze Age Nerds YouTube channel. There's original art, there are prints, there are slabs and comics and all kinds of things that they're going to be selling. So if you at least hit that notification bell on the link that I pinned in the chat, you can at least know when it goes live. You can share it out. You can hang out in the chat and have a good time. Don't necessarily need to buy anything, but it's a good opportunity to support a good cause and some good people. Then we've got our friend, the Magic Lasso, Ryan. Good morning to you, Ryan. I will say I didn't read a lot of DC this morning, just a little bit. I know Ryan, that likes more than just DC, but I always see his name and think, I got some reading to do. Specifically, Ryan and I, next Saturday, I believe, I'm saying it with trepidation because I have an entire omnibus to read in a week. We're going to be talking about George Perez's Volume 2 omnibus on my channel. So that is coming up. I was trying to catch up on my new books so that I would feel less guilty reading some older comic books. But that is coming up over the next week. We got my friend Ruben Guzman. Ruby G is in the chat. What's going on, Ruben? Happy Saturday to you, my friend. We got the Wellbore himself. What's going on, Wellbore? J Hood's in the chat. He's just lurking while he's working. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Let's see here. I hope this channel gobbles today. I mean, it is technically the week of Thanksgiving now, right? My man JP is in the chat. I hope JP you're recovering well. I hope your pain is low. That you're relaxing and reading and not doing so much to hurt yourself further. We got my man Magic Lasso talking to JP. So these are the two homies that will be discussing the George Perez Wonder Woman Volume 2 with me. I don't know if JP has even started it yet. It sounds like Lasso is on page 300. So I got a lot of reading to do. A lot of reading to do. We got my other friend John in the chat. What's going on, Cali Comics? How you doing, sir? Can John, would you remind me? I know that you and Bleecker have your Kickstarter going for your comic that you're working on. Murder. Shoot. It's got the word murder in it. Murder King. And I've got it. I've already marked it in my Kickstarter so that it'll notify me when it goes live. But if you can notify us where that is right now, where you're thinking it's going to go live, just give us a reminder of where it's at. He says, I have not. It is on the shelf. So there you go. I'm glad to feel that I'm not the only one in this boat with JP. So that's good. But I did read a ton. Currently, I was trying, but I think I will probably have to pause it. I've been trying to get my way through Starman by James Robinson. I've never read this. I don't know anything about the character. I mean, I've heard of Stargirl, and I've heard of the JSA, but I don't know these characters at all. And Cliff on Comics basically told me that I had a lot of shame. I should have shame for never hearing of this before. And I used that to motivate me to buy 2 compendiums, volume 1 and 2, sight unseen, based solely on the recommendation of Cliff. And I will say, being about maybe more like a third of the way, maybe closer to halfway through this first compendium, Cliff was right. It was very I'm very much enjoying this volume. So the compendiums were very cheap on in stock trades when I bought them. So well worth the price so far. And I'm only, not even really fully halfway through one of the 2 compendiums. So there you go. Cliff can marry people at the 7-Eleven if they want. He is in fact ordained. I don't know the specifics of it, but he is at a wedding this weekend, and I do believe he is performing the service. So yes, he is. Shooting for February for Murder King. So there you go, gang. If you have interest in funding Kickstarters or community projects, my man Callie and of course Reverend Bleeker, they are partnering up for Murder King, and you can tag that Kickstarter now if you search Murder King on Kickstarter and get the notification when that goes live. But of course, I will shout it out here when that happens. I will drop links when it's live so that you all can find out about that, because I enjoy supporting those kinds of things, which goes to, I suppose, the last one that I got recently, and I still haven't really shared it, but I got the Shift project for cover set. And I haven't read it yet, so I'm sorry to say I can't tell you if it's any good, but I'm just happy to support Journey and this project that he was doing with several community members. So that is on my to be read pile. I'll add that to the Starman pile over here. But that went down, and I've got that in the collection now. And then I've got some other things that I purchased recently to share, so I'll get to that in a second. I don't think I'm going to make it on Hustlemania tonight, but a big event, going down tonight. Tony Sanders is having a lot of former people roll in there, and it's going to be wild. Their Kickstarter came out. I think he meant came out. I hear Tony Sanders, though, is going to throw it down. There's $100 on the line. Somebody's going to win $100. I'm not super competitive. I don't know if that comes off as like I'm not a super competitive person. So when I see that, like, oh, hey, you should play our fantasy football league, there's $100 if you win, instantly my interest level drops, because I'm like, it's going to bring out the competitive level in other people. And I don't enjoy participating in that, because people take it a little. Firstly, look, gang. People already take the hunt on Tony's channel too seriously for me. I'm just gonna say, like, I go on there for fun. I like hanging out with John. I like hanging out with Tony. I like hanging out with Biggie. Like, I enjoy going on there and having a laugh with these people. Dustin, when he shows up there, right? There's no other reason for me to go on the hunt but to have fun. And if it's not fun, I'm not going, which is why I keep going. I keep enjoying hanging out on the hunt, because it's a fun thing to do. But once you add that money in there, the people that already take it too seriously, now they're like, oh, now I'm really going to up my game here. It's kind of hilarious. It's so those people that are already like way too into it are now they're on 11. They've turned the knob to 11. So for me, I'm always like, I'm gonna back off of that. So I'll probably be in the chat tonight. I don't know if I'll make it. If you're running short of contestants, which I doubt, I think you're going to be chock-a-block. I think you're going to have trouble fitting people backstage just to get into the Hustlemania tonight. So I'm assuming you don't need me, but I'll be on call if you need me to come flying off the top ropes. There's a wrestling metaphor for you. I will be there for sure. Oh, and another giveaway. So besides the big $100 prize, a book is being given away too. So gang, but it'll be a good show. If you guys haven't heard of it, I'm shocked. But if you haven't, definitely go over to Tony Sanders' YouTube channel and make sure you hit that notification bell for tonight, because it's going to be big. and I'll probably share it on my community tab and on my Instagram. So you'll have links for it elsewhere if you're looking for it. So yeah, I've got to read The Shift, and I've got to finish Starman, and I've got to read Wonder Woman Volume 2 from Perez. That's my list of things to do over between now and maybe next Sunday. We'll see how well I do. As far as other things, I've been reading mostly a lot of my new books. I've been trying to catch up on, I took a big break over summer and fell way behind on reading new books. And then there was stuff that I wanted to read digitally that I was trying to catch up on. So a lot of today, I'm going to go through some of the new comics that I've been reading, recommending my favorites. Let's see here. Change this over. A new comic book day reading. Put a little banner up here for you. So yeah, this is going to be, I'm going to go through new comic book day reading. I got 2 C's in there. How did I do that? Let me take that down and edit that. Womp womp. There we go. Yeah. So I not only did I catch up on the single issues that I've been buying, everything but one title, I've caught up on everything because that one I've got a lot to read. But I also went through digitally, and there were a ton of books that I had been enjoying from the last year that I was only reading digitally. So now that there's a backlog, I can go through like the Marvel app and catch up on a lot of those things, read them digitally, and get to where I wanted to be. So my goal is to have everything ready so that when I do my best of 2025 videos, I got it all dialed in, and I'm really ahead of my schedule. I'm far ahead of where I normally am. So I'm feeling good about that overall. So let's talk a little bit about the worst stuff I've been reading and how that kind of goes. Callie says someone always kills it for like 6 rounds and loses. That's me. I'm usually like, I win the first 3 of 5 rounds. They win the 4th one. And then we go to the quote tiebreaker, even though I'm up 3-2, and the tiebreaker goes to the winner, and then that's it. So first up, this book is not half as good as the cover. Rogue Storm. Look, gang, you know why I bought the cover. Inyuk Lee on these Streetwise, Streetverse variants. These are great covers. And there's a Hulk one coming up here for the Infernal Hulk that looks great. I love these Inyuk Lee Streetverse covers. The book is boring. The book is not well drawn. In fact, I would say it's downright bad drawings. So I would not recommend this to anybody except people that want covers. And if you want covers, then they're hooking you up. They're hooking you up. But thankfully, it's just a 3-issue miniseries. I'm going to put these over here. So you don't have to worry too much about it, but it's not good. The Rogue Storm series, I think, is really just an opportunity for Ayodele Morewa, the Nigerian writer who's been writing Storm for the last year and a half, to wrap up their storyline, I believe. Because I think everything on the X universe is getting a major relaunch in the beginning of 2026, somewhere in that February-March range. So they are cleaning house a little bit. They have not announced creative teams, and this is what gave me pause about the current era of X books, right? The current era of X books is mediocre, in my opinion, at best, and downright awful at worst, because they're not putting quality people on these titles. There's a couple of talented people. I think Stephanie Phillips is one of them. But for the most part, it's second tier or 0 tier writers, people who you have never heard of before, who have no real track record of proven work. And so you're just kind of hoping that they can hit a home run inside of an editorial system at Marvel that's really flawed right now, that really is not managing talents well and giving them opportunities, right? So as far as the X-Men universe, it is still very much on rocky ground for me until they announce either a big name editor to take over that portion of Marvel, or some very quality, high level, top tier writing talents to go and come over and sort of plan these things out better. So that's kind of where I'm at with X books right now, which is why I've stopped reading most of them. There is one I'm still reading, and I can get to that one in just a second. Agree on all counts on X talent and rotten editorial staff. There you go. There are good books at Marvel, and I will get to 2 of them in just a minute here, but they're not under the umbrella of the main continuity X-Men stuff, and that's a shame. But I enjoyed the Hickman era, I would say, at like an 85% success rate. There's definitely 15% of that era that didn't work for me, but it's a high level of success considering how many books they were publishing. My flaws with that era obviously are in the way they produced it and the way they sold it and the way they put it out. I had some issues with that. It's the same reason why their omnibus that they're releasing currently for that collection of era doesn't work for me. But that's a different problem. Let's get into another Marvel book that I'm reading and keeping up on, and that is, let's do this cover. It's called The World to Come. This is a Marvel Knights throwback series from Quesada and Priest, and in some ways a continuation of the Priest era of Black Panther, which I have yet to read. I'm supposed to read for January. So in that way, I'm a little bit at a loss going in, but I will say it's not a confusing title, except for the fact that it skips around in time. So here, this is issue 4. Where am I putting these? I'm going over here. Where's issue 3? Yeah. There's issue 3 with our main characters on the cover. And somehow I got 2 copies of issue 2. So I may have to put one of these in a giveaway at some point. I don't know how that happened. And then this one is, I don't know the artist on this one, but I dig this one. That's a cool cover. So what the plot, this is the book that I know had some controversy when it first came out because issue 1 had a white Black Panther. And I know that was upsetting to a lot of people. What is going on, Old Wolf? Good to see you, Tony. Tony, he's got his today. If you drop them to that live stream in the chat, you got a wrench, you can do that. So people can bookmark it for later. Because I think it happens at 2:00 my time, 5:00 Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. Bring back the X-Men of Krakoa age, way better read when they're putting it out now. There you go. I can't argue with that, Dio. So yeah, there was a white Black Panther. So let me explain how that happened, because I know a lot of people were like, this is unacceptable, this is ridiculous. I think probably the same people that freaked out about Miles Morales or the new X-Men team or whatever, people that just judge something on the surface level and don't read it. So the plot is T'Challa is, so the story separates out many different time frames. You have young T'Challa learning how to be the Black Panther and going through different trials and tests in Wakanda, in New York, wherever. You have the T'Challa we know in our current timeline dealing with some things that happened between him and Everett Ross. This is the character played by I think of Bilbo Baggins from the Hobbit films in the MCU. And Everett has I would say, illegitimate child, a son. And the son was supposedly murdered and killed, but somehow the Wakandans saved this child. And T'Challa felt that he owed Everett the debt of taking care of this kid. And so he adopted him. He took this boy in and tried to train him the same way he was trained. And the problem was, and they show this in side-by-side stories, T'Challa took very different lessons away from the training he got than young, I think it's Katama, Everett Ross's kid takes away very different lessons. And it all culminates in a future storyline, right? The other timeline that we get, the future, shows Everett's son challenging T'Challa on the waterfall for being the Black Panther. And he wins. He basically kills T'Challa, or seriously maims him, to the point where when they're doing a coronation for the white Black Panther, Everett Ross's son, T'Challa is being taken downstairs, and unless he recovers naturally, they can't do anything for him. So they're sort of letting him bleed out and die, right? They're not allowed to heal him from that challenge by combat. And so the story kind of follows how this white Black Panther is the villain, right? He is taking over Wakanda and corrupting it, and is sort of being led by the worst parts of their culture, which is this like cleric magic consortium inside of Wakanda. So the drama is centering around these two rival sides, right? Those that were loyal to T'Challa, but then those who are loyal to the cult-like mysticism inside of Wakanda. And there's an infighting going on. And the White Black Panther is the villain, and T'Challa is much older. Think of it like it's almost like Dark Knights, right? Like Frank Miller's Dark Knight. You have this much older Black Panther, and he's unwilling to kill the kid that he's helped raise. And so the kid takes advantage of that and wins in the trial by combat. And then T'Challa has to decide, like, can I get back physically to a place where I can actually stop him? Because right now in the story, I read issue 4. I think it's only 6 or 7 issues long. T'Challa is still alive and he has recovered. He snuck out of Wakanda somehow, even with a really bad leg injury, and he's bleeding out. He snuck out, and he is doing his best to recover his strength so that he can stand up to his adopted son, or Everett Ross's child. And the truth of the White Black Panther's lineage is coming out now. And so it's really going to be a testament of, does T'Challa have a plan to solve this problem? This child who is very ungrateful, who is very angry and has a lot of bitterness, and is using that to kind of attack Wakanda from the inside, if that makes sense. So I've enjoyed it. I think it's a little convoluted, a little complicated, and it skips around a lot. But overall, I think I like the story. I think the concept of a White Black Panther, I know, is kind of edgy or whatever, but I think they use it well enough in the story. Although they made it sound like I should be shocked that this is Everett Ross's son, but they pretty much pointed out clearly from the beginning that this is going to be Ross's kid. So for me, it's kind of like, where's the surprise? There was no shock there for me. But that's me. I've caught up on that one. There's an issue coming in December and one in January, I believe. There it is. The Old Wolf Hot Wing Challenge is coming on today. Did he list the time for us? I didn't see it, but I thought it was 5 Eastern, 2 o'clock my time. He can correct me if I'm wrong. How do you solve a problem like Maria? So there you go. That is World to Come. It's a Marvel Knights book. I don't know even how accurate to continuity it's going to be. How much is this in the timeline, or is this Elseworlds or whatever? It seems like it's part of our timeline, but it's also like into the future a little bit. So there you go. Take that for whatever you want it to be. So I'm starting on the low end with some of the books that I don't love as much, and I'll include this next book here, which I again bought for the covers, but I reference it. I read it because I'm not going to buy it and then not read it. This is Batman Deadpool, and I didn't buy and I didn't read Deadpool Batman. So I didn't read the first issue. I just bought the second one because the covers were kind of mediocre for the first volume, but the covers for this second volume are gorgeous. So that is why I bought 3 of these. Mostly it was because of this cover right here. Tony says it's 5 Pacific and 8 Eastern. Okay, so there you go. What is going on? Dan's Comic Corner in the chat. What's going on, Dan? Happy Saturday to you, sir. So yes, I read this book so that you don't have to. I hate this crap. I really do. It is not entertaining to me. I was really bored through 9/10 of this. There was 1 moment or 2 moments in the Nightwing Wolverine in this storyline, which is the main reason I bought it. Because obviously I'm a big, if you can't see, there it is, Bruno Redondo Nightwing fan. And to know he did the interior and he did the cover for this, I was all in. That was the main reason I bought it. Yeah. Don't read Deadpool Batman then. Well, there you go. It's just crappy. It's like bad diet soda. Like, soda already is horrible for you, but now it's going to be diet, and then it's going to taste like diet soda. Like, it offers nothing. It brings nothing to the table. The Batman and Deadpool stuff is the worst. Even when they're making fun of the fact that Deadpool is really Deathstroke or whatever, and they're making jokes about Slade Wilson versus Wade Wilson. It's just boring. It's just boring. It's just I didn't care for it. Now the Bruno Redondo storyline with Nightwing and X-23 was fine. It was short. It didn't really do a good job of explaining why the two of them would be partnered up for a bunch of stuff. Like I think it just was rushed, and the artwork was wonderful, and Redondo, of course, crushed it. But yeah, for $9, gang, I'm just not. It's not it. Now I will probably go back and buy a copy of Deadpool Batman, and I'll pick a cover like that Dodson one that Ryan's telling me about with Captain America and Wonder Woman. But I'm gonna wait till it's like half price or $1 or whatever, because there's a ton of these out there. So why spend $9 on it? So I'm your cautionary tale. Just don't do it. Just walk away. That's the story and cover that tempted me, but I didn't buy it. Smart man, just wait down the road. There'll be plenty of them. And Callie said it's 10 times better than the other one. Fair. JSS Brooklyn, what's going on, John? Good to see you. All the best Johns in the chat. I appreciate it. Gore says, I don't like Deadpool. Never liked the character. And I respect that. And I feel like even in small doses, I struggle with Deadpool. I loved him in Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender, but that's about as far as I'm going with the character. I don't enjoy him. No, not a favorite. And I don't get, other than the meta, he's popular comedy side of it, I don't get making him the focus of this series. Like, I understand that Batman is DC's guy. You got to make it Batman. But why is it Deadpool that you partner him with? That doesn't work for me. I go, my hair's doing weird stuff today. So for me, making that the lion's share of these two books, that's why you fail. That is why they fail. But that's my thoughts on that. Is it bad Morrison? Is Morrison writing this? Did I miss that fact? Let me open up the one I've opened up to now. Is Grant Morrison writing this? I didn't think Morrison was writing it, but I honestly didn't pay attention to any of that. It is Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. There you go. Little did I recognize that. I mean, obviously Dan Mora is an incredibly talented artist, and I have no disappointment, but it's just meta crap. You got Dark Claw. I mean, it's just, I don't know, gang. I'm just bored by it. I'm just bored. I found it very bland for a book by those two characters, that writer. It's just bland. There was a panel that I truly loved in the Batman or the Nightwing storyline. It's basically the last panel. This panel is, the splash page is gorgeous. I mean, that's a stunner right there. You got Batman and Wolverine says the best they are at what they do, and then you got Nightwing and X-23 kind of thinking about their dads. I like all of that. But for $9 for one tiny storyline and one splash page, not worth the money in this reviewer's opinion. So there you go. Save your money. That was Callie's favorite read, The Hulk and Harley, his favorite story. I don't know. Maybe I was not in the right mindset for it, or maybe I was prejudged on it already. Nothing really matches up to the Cable and Deadpool series, in my opinion. Okay. It's amazing how well this crossover was sold. I mean, of course, make your money. You got Dark Claw. I know, right? Dark Claw. I am waiting for a dollar bin. There you go. See? Should have been Batman and Moon Knight. Yeah, I think he's too tiny of a character. You need somebody with more name. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know why it's not Batman Spider-Man, but maybe there's a better choice out there. Trying to think of names that would fit better to a mystery meta universe crossover kind of thing. I like the idea of some of the partnerships that they have going in this. I don't think it's designed very well. Deadpool shouldn't be the center, right? There it is. He liked that panel too. JSS, I would read Batman Moon. I would read that too. Hated Hulk and Harley. Yeah, I mean, not my favorite. Come on, man. Mutant hot dogs. Because a new Superman, Spider-Man is coming in 2026. All right, good to know. There are several midnight sales here. Both did well. Nice. Hey, I mean, look, and to that point, Gore, it's the same way I feel about Ultimate Spider-Man selling well and Absolute Batman selling well. I may not like these books, but if it's hyping people to come to their comic book stores, let's go. If people are hyped on Red Coat or Transformers or what else? Any of the Geiger, yay! I am for it. If it's helping comic shops thrive and helping publishers make money, sign me up. But I'm not enjoying these books. I'm reading other books that I'm loving, but I'm not reading those and loving them. So that's where I'm at. Dan Mora's Immortal Legend Batman is good. I feel like I read the first issue and was just kind of like meh on it. I wasn't really impressed by it. But I'm pretty meh on Batman these days anyways. There's not a lot of Batman that I'm just like hyped on, but I'll get to one of them here in just a minute. I know I'm going pretty slow today. Let's see here. So for me, let me finish my Marvel stuff here. I did pick up a key that I did not have in my collection. So I snagged this Truth Red White Black early alternate Captain America character, right? So I did not have this book in my collection. The price has come down a ton, so I snagged this one, and I'm excited to have that in the collection. So that's a non-reading book, but just a fun book that I wanted to add to my collection. Let's see, I got Indies here, and I got DC here. So let's finish my Marvel talk, and then we'll move over to DC. There were two books in Marvel, I think it's just two, that I've been catching up on reading because I was enjoying them last year and I didn't want to miss out on them this year. Yeah. So the main two books I'm talking about are Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko and Incredible Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein. These are top Marvel books for me. So when people tell you that Marvel sucks right now, there are still good books there, and maybe they're not for you, maybe they're not the way you want to see these characters. But as far as like this ultimate universe that's happening right now, where you're getting alternative versions of your favorite superheroes, if you like that kind of stuff, if you like Elseworld stories, for me, Ultimate X-Men hits a home run, because it's like a manga version of X-Men, and it's their kids learning to use their powers, and they're being pulled in many different directions. The government that wants to use them for experimentation, Mr. Sinister, they did a great job creating their own version of Mr. Sinister, who's called the Maester, and he is nightmarish. The use of the Shadow King all the way through is phenomenal. Peach Momoko's artwork, combined with this sort of dark horror storyline, it started small with just a couple of characters, and now there's like there's not even like just one X-Men team. There's like 2 or 3 teams of mutants all kind of fighting amongst each other. Ultimate X-Men is way better than it deserves to be, and I'm sad it's only got 3 issues left. December, January, and February. It ends in February. So there's 3 issues left, and it's been very entertaining. And it's a super easy, speedy read. You can get on the Marvel app. I think it'll end at 24 issues. So at this point, you could probably read 18 of them on that Marvel app. I've really enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun with it, but I'm willing to let go of what my expectations are for that title. I'm willing to say, hey, Peach Momoko's got an Elseworlds X-Men book. You should check it out. And her panel-to-panel storytelling is strong. Her concepts are strong. The iconography is strong. I feel like the characters, even sometimes when I'm like, is that Polaris? Or is that supposed to be, Quanon, or like sometimes I'm not certain who the character is supposed to be because they get slightly different names, but when they turn their powers on or they use their abilities, that's when my mind says, oh, that's supposed to be Storm or whatever. It's an interesting concept and it's well executed, and it's emotional because it has to do with young people and depression, mental health issues, right? People who are potentially taking their own lives. Like there's some very intense kind of stuff going on there that is related to current issues in Japanese culture and in Japan as a whole. And so I think they're really navigating some heady, big waters here while doing it with this fun kind of manga style. So huge shout out to a book that I think nobody's really talking about, and that it disappoints me, but I really enjoy it. So maybe worth the time if you're looking for something different. And yes, Callie, I'm going to get to the book you mentioned when I get over to DC. Although I don't know that I don't think I've read this one, but I do hear some good things about it. I have not gotten to that one. We got Trev, the shipping guru, in the chat. What's going on, Trev? Happy Saturday, man. I mean, they've expanded quickly, but no, we haven't gotten to Arcade yet. The main villains have been the government as a whole, and Sunfire is like a representative of that government, and then Mr. Sinister, who's just called Maester. They don't give him an actual name. And then, of course, the Shadow King is ultimately being revealed as a kid who doesn't know how to control this ability that he has, and he's using it to harm people, right? He's invading their subconscious and he's manipulating them and controlling them and amplifying all their negative emotions, all their feelings of depression and self-worth and things. So again, it's a very powerful look at kids and how technology and society and their friend groups can cause these kinds of mental health footfalls, traps, right? And I think that it's really well done, and I've really enjoyed it. But it's not the best book at Marvel, and that's the last one I'm going to mention. I'll first let me mention this one. This is the one I'm trying to catch up on. I've probably got 5 months of Doom, One World Under Doom to read to catch up on. So at some point I'm going to spend a weekend just reading all the One World Under Doom. I got about halfway through the story, and then I paused it because there was a lot of tie-ins and I didn't have the time to keep up, and I wanted to read it all in once, and I was enjoying it. So I enjoyed it all the way through, I think, issue 5. And so that I did 5 months of it. I read everything. So I think I got to do July, August, September, October, November. I got 5 more months to like catch up on everything else. But I will do a video when I get to the end because I hope it ends as well as it started. But the best book at Marvel, for my money, is Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hulk. It was great. And it just ended last month. And the new issue 1, where the same creative team keeps going, kicks off, I think, this coming week. Infernal Hulk. It's a great book, and Hulk fans should be, and I don't hear them enough. Maybe there's just not enough of them. Hulk fans should be raging about how good this book is and how few people are talking about it. I don't hear enough. I don't hear enough noise in comic book YouTubers talking about how good Incredible Hulk has been. And Nick Klein and his artwork, he's not always on the book, obviously, because artists are, it's tough to keep up with the pace of monthly books. Nick Klein has been a champion and just really crushed it on this book. They just wrapped, and he's gonna continue on as best he can for Infernal Hulk, but it's basically just spinning the story out of Incredible Hulk. He took a little bit of what Al Ewing had done with Immortal Hulk, and they kept these concepts of evil duplicitous gods and the manipulation of that gamma energy that controls the Hulk, and they got rid of some of the like heady philosophy, psychology stuff, and dove deeper into the monsters and some of the body horror stuff. And they really took that book to a new level for me. It was absolutely a whole lot of fun. And I could follow, even as a Hulk novice, because I've only read, I read Planet Hulk, and I read World War Hulk, and I've read the Immortal Hulk. So, I mean, I've read certain more modern runs, but I'm very much of a rookie when it comes to the original Incredible Hulk stuff. But for me, what they did really well was to ground Banner and the Hulk in where they are right now. And that moment in time is very different in the sense that, like, Banner is trapped and he is basically out of the picture, except in moments when the Hulk is talking to himself like a schizophrenic almost. And there's this little girl who wishes she could have his power, that is sort of like his shadow tagging along with the Hulk as he goes town to town dealing with the fact that monsters seem to be drawn to the Hulk right now. There is some evil entity that they reveal in the run that is forcing the Hulk to be like a magnet for evil, for monsters, for demons. And they are basically, wherever Hulk goes in the world, they find him. And it's been a wild ride to see the Hulk having to deal with this. There's been some crazy plot twists where they go to find, at one point Hulk is like talked into going to talk to Stephen Strange, but he gets to the what's the name of his dang mansion or whatever in New York. He goes to the house where Stephen Strange should be living, but it's Clea, right? She is now the Sorcerer Supreme. And she takes him in and she says, I can help you, but I got to help the little girl you're with because she's been poisoned by some werewolf kind of thing. I can help you, but the Hulk has to stay in this special room where he cannot access his powers. And I'll help the little girl because I don't trust the Hulk. The Hulk goes in, and it's one of the few times you see him be Bruce Banner. He's like, whoop, he turns back into Bruce Banner when he's trapped in this room. And Clea locks him in, only for us to find out that's not really Clea, that it's somebody who's trying to manipulate this girl, right? And so now, the scene is amazing. But like now, this was several issues back, way back. She sends these werewolf monsters in to eat and kill Bruce Banner because she's like, look, I can kill Bruce Banner. We can leave his corpse in this room and he'll never turn into the Hulk again and we'll be safe. We've basically just trapped him in this pocket universe, this pocket room. And so she's manipulating the little girl and the werewolves come back and they're all bloody. And she's like, you did a great job. And then she's like, wait a second. Did you guys eat him? You were just supposed to kill him. And they're like, no, we ate him. And then she's like, but then you brought him out of the room. If he's inside your stomach, you brought him out. And of course, then like a green foot pops out of one of them. A fist comes flying out of somebody's mouth. The body parts of Bruce Banner turn into the Hulk and then burst out of these werewolves and reform. It's wild. I was like, holy cow, what a sequence to watch these werewolves be basically killed from the inside by pieces of the Hulk that then like reanimate as the Hulk. It was a wild moment. It was insane. And then of course they fight the imposter Clea and rescue the little girl. And but there's lots of stories like that, and they are just wild. It's a really great book, and it ended with this evil demon basically splitting Hulk apart to peel Bruce Banner out of him, and then taking over the Hulk version and using him as a vessel to leave the underworld. And that's why we're getting the Infernal Hulk book. If you look at the covers, this version of the Hulk is like carved down the middle with this weird like schism. And it's like a demonic version of the Hulk. And Bruce Banner now has to chase this version down. And that's what the Infernal Hulk is going to be. So it's like this, it's the continuation of that story. But worth reading, worth checking out. If you have the Marvel app, I highly recommend it. I'm sorry I ranted that long on it, but it is that good. I'm going to make a shorter video on it at some point. If you like Nick Klein at all, they even have a battle with Thor that is phenomenal. And I'm going to use it, I think, for the thumbnail for the video I'm going to make. Really great. It's like a wraparound cover. Infernal Cormac McCarthy. Klein on Thor. Yeah. So they do have, and then they have a 2 or 3 issue Thor versus Hulk storyline that was really cool. So Hulk is now Annabelle. I mean, sure. The Sanctum Sanctorum. Thank you. I needed that. Hulk has Jekyll and Hyde personality. I mean, definitely, for sure. What's going on, Steve White? I didn't say hello to you. I didn't say hi to Canadian Survivalist. I didn't say hi to Comics Fan. What is going on, all you fine gentlemen? And Air Spider, what's going on? I know I clicked on people's names and I'm not shouting them out, and that is my problem. You should definitely get it. And I don't think that there is even, I would say even last year, I don't think there was a better book going at Marvel than Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hulk. And it feels like from Immortal Hulk to now, we are in a real heyday of quality Hulk comics in Marvel. If you can ignore the little Donny Cates hiccup, I think for the most part, we've had some really great Hulk books. And it's possible that in the last 15 years, I think Hulk has been the most consistently well-written character maybe at Marvel. I know Daredevil's always right in the running there, but I mean, dang. This is a great time to be a Hulk fan. So Hulk fans, rejoice. Go read this great book. Check it out. All right, we're at 46 minutes in, and I haven't gotten anything but Marvel done. So let's do some DC. Somebody shouted out Batman and Robin Year One. Great book. And I've completely caught up on that. And it was wonderful. I hope they release a nice hardcover edition. If you did not hear about it, Mark Waid and someone remind me of who the artist is on that book. But Batman and Robin Year One was wonderful. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. And I'm assuming that they will release it in some kind of a nice collected edition. But it was a great 12-issue maxi series that finished. I think it finished in October, actually. Really, really phenomenal. It felt, there it is. Thank you. Yes, it was Chris Samney. Look, gang, like it felt like Batman Year One. It felt like Batgirl Year One. It felt like Long Halloween. Like it had that aesthetic. It had that vibe. The characterizations were super strong. The villains were fantastic. It was top tier DC right now, and way worth the price. However you're going to read it, buy it digitally, buy the single issues. It's nothing people are specking on, so you can find the books for cover price or less. Worth the time. Or you wait for the hardcover, like Comic Fan and I are doing. Worth the time. Mark Waid is having such an amazing, like, I know he's always been there, right? He's always been there. Whether I read some of his original Justice League of America. I think it was called JLA. I read, of course, his Daredevil, so phenomenal. But there's something about what he's doing now, right? With World's Finest and then Justice League Unlimited and so many other miniseries and maxi series. He is having, I don't know how he feels, if he's feeling like I'm overworked or whatever, but he's having a resurgence right now. I feel like he is dominating what's happening at DC in a really great way. And if I see his name on a title, I try to check it out. That's where he's at right now. He is hitting home runs so consistently that if his name is on a title, it's probably worth your money and worth your time. So he really is the man right now. And that title just reminded me of it. I've been collecting the World's Finest in the hardcover books, mostly because I love Dan Mora. And I've got the 6 volumes that have the Dan Mora interior artwork. I know that now there's other interior artists because Dan Mora moved over to Justice League Unlimited. But I love it. Really great stuff. Very entertaining. Just fun comic book stuff. And that's what I got from Batman and Robin. Worth your time. I just made a video that's coming out next week called Absolute Wonder Woman is the best book at DC, because, gang, it is. As much as I love Batman and Robin Year One, Absolute Wonder Woman is better. And it's the best book, I think, for 2025 at DC. You should absolutely check that one out. Again, artwork is challenging some people because it's not your typical Wonder Woman, beautiful, Nakayama, Sampere artwork, but it's a great series. And I've only read it really digitally because the Absolute books were very hit or miss for me. I'm not a fan of most of them, but Wonder Woman is on a different level, and it's so freaking good. It's just it's just it's doing a great job of two things. Number one, giving us a very original take on the character of Wonder Woman, but just like Ultimate X-Men for me, it's true to the character. Whereas I feel like the Batman one, it's not very true to the Batman for me. It's very it's like it's so far to the side. It's basically, Punisher Batman now. Like it's not Batman for me. Whereas this feels like Diana and the Ultimate X-Men, those characters feel like who they are. And so that's what I'm loving about Absolute Wonder Woman. I am still reading regular Wonder Woman. It is absolutely fantastic as well. This current storyline with Mouse Man has been a little bit tedious, a little bit slow, way too much setup. But the last two issues, so this is 27, 26 and 27 are the best ones of the Mouse Man storyline. This was my favorite comic from either of the big two last year. It cracked my top 5, which usually the big two don't crack my top 5. I don't know if it'll crack the top 5 this year, but it is a very good title as well. I will say it's if it's a great time to be a Hulk fan at Marvel, it's a great time. It's a great time to be a Wonder Woman fan for DC right now, because the Wonder Woman titles are stupendous, right? They're just top tier. So I'm Absolute and regular. For me, they're must read DC right now, and it's peak, right? They are really crushing it, and I'm enjoying the daylights out of it. I'm also reading Poison Ivy, of course. That's been a title that I kept up on and really enjoyed. It's kind of out of the growing pains finally. They went from miniseries to maxi series to ongoing, and at each stage there were some growing pains because the creative team had to basically redo what they were doing. There was a lot of editing that was happening just to keep up with expectations. But the book has continued to be a fun one for me. I do want to read New Gods by Ram V. I hear great things about it. I have not read a single issue of it, but I've heard great things. So I'll add Batman, was it Dark Patterns somebody mentioned? I'll add that one to my list. Just because I have heard enough about it that I feel like I should check it out. Dark Patterns, I think is what people said it was called. Something like that. I'll find it. But those are the two DC titles that I haven't started but heard good things about that I want to get into. But other than that, I'm caught up on my DC. I'm very sad that this book is coming to an end. This is Birds of Prey 27 as well. And there's going to be only one more issue coming into December to finish Birds of Prey off. And it's been a great read. Had a lot of fun with that. So I'm sad that one's coming to an end. But that's kind of the way it goes. Yeah, the Mouse Man storyline has been rough because I think the setup was way too long. I think they could have cut the setup by half and then escalated the sort of climax stuff that they're doing now. But for me, that's just pacing. The pacing was off. I think read in a trade, it might read differently because you would breeze through it a little bit more. We got my man, Matt. I think he commented earlier, and I'm sorry that I didn't comment on it. What's going on, Matt? He says, I just read Batman Static Beyond #1, and he liked that. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Dark Patterns is really good. Dan Waters is writing it. And that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing very good things. We got the Bronze Page. Terry's in the chat. Happy holidays to you, Terry. I hope if your kids are off, everybody, I hope that they're hanging out and that you're spending some quality time with them instead of being on YouTube like this idiot right here. Absolute Wonder Woman may interest manga fans since she has the Berserk sword of the Dragon Slayer. Okay. And it does, I will say, it did give me anime sort of manga vibes when I read the first issue because there's a lot of kaiju that she's fighting and these kinds of things. So maybe it's the same audience that they're going for with Ultimate X-Men, and maybe my tastes are evolving because those two books I very much enjoyed, and I think they're quality books worth people's time for sure. Superman has been really good. Are you talking about the regular Superman title? Because I haven't read that one since Philip Kennedy Johnson came off of it. He was doing some of those, and I have not read much beyond them. What is up, Mark? He says, good morning, homies. Popping in to say, hey, and recommend Ken Burns' brand new Revolutionary War docu. I mean, anything Ken Burns is probably going to be worth your time. I can't remember I think my wife and I finally did his whole Vietnam, because we went through the PBS app, I think, or something, did his entire Vietnam docuseries, and that, I mean, it was epic. It was epic. But I also learned a lot that I didn't fully understand from, history class in high school, and, educating myself and things. Always a deep dive when it comes to him, for sure. Regular Superman, Josh Williams. Okay. Josh Williamson. Yeah. Yeah. So Dark Patterns is over. And then I did hear this, which is why I think people were like praising it for sure. Absolutely. Well, it's perfect timing, Ian, that you arrived, because I just finished basically going through my DC books, my favorites, and what I've been reading and everything I've caught up on. Like I mentioned, there's 2 books that are on my to be read for DC, just like there's 1 book on my Marvel to be read. I've got to catch up on New Gods. I've never read it. I heard good things. Dark Patterns, Batman, I got to catch up on. And over at Marvel, it's the One World Under Doom event. I'm about halfway through all of the tie-ins and everything, and I got to finish the second half. Let's jump over to indies, because that's where I've probably got the most reading still to do before the new year. I've caught up on a lot of stuff, so let's run through what I've caught up on. Let's see here. Let's start with the Exquisite Corpses. This is the book that's on the cover or the thumbnail for this book, or this video. What am I talking about here? Exquisite Corpses is great, and this might be the book of the year for me. It's right there at the edge. And the previous issue to this one, issue 6, was probably my favorite one that they had so far. But it's a crazy roller coaster ride, very entertaining. I have a lot of fun with this book. I never know where it's going to go. The concept is strong, and I've just been enjoying the daylights out of it. So they're on issue 7 right now. You can definitely find these in your LCS. I don't think there's any huge crazy spec on it. So Exquisite Corpses is currently best of the year for me. I've got a lot of other stuff I'm going to catch up on, but we shall see which one caps out as the best. The level of detail and a massive amount of different perspectives is lost when going through these topics in school. Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to the sequel, Trashy Corpses. All right. Well, I'll be excited for that too. We got my man Perry in the chat. What is going on, Perry? How's the Discord this morning? It was kind of quiet in there when I was up this morning doing my laundry, so I didn't really jump in. And we got Damien, the Sleepy Reader. What's going on, Damien? I will remind everybody, since the chat is kind of bumping right now, there's a link pinned at the top. The link is for the Heroes for Heroes auction that happens in about 3 hours. It's on the Bronze Age Nerds YouTube channel, and all the profits go to the Mission 22 Veterans Charity. Original art, comics. If you have any money left over after comics curing cancer and you want to support a great cause, just hit the notification bell on that link. Even if you don't show up there, even at least, if you're not buying stuff, you're still supporting it, right? Creating awareness, sharing it out. Because it is a great cause. We need to support our veterans better, and how we can give them opportunities outside of when they come back and they're moving out of active service, right? So just something to support. In 3 hours, I'll be in the chat for those auctions, hopefully snagging some stuff, but also sharing it out and letting people know. But let's get back to Tacoma Comics' question. I have read issue 1 of Die Loaded. This is the sequel story to the original Die 20-issue saga. Of course, I got the 2 main covers. There's an incentive that I would like to find when it cools down a little bit. There's a great Peach Momoko cover there. Absolutely fantastic. And I even got the quick start, the role play game, I guess, guide. Even though I did the Kickstarter and I have the full game and all the dice and all the stuff, I bought that anyways, just because I was like, I don't know how it ties in, but let's buy it anyways. Let's spend more money on this. I'm going to be reviewing it in full the first week of December with my man Whitewell Comics, but I'll tell you that I liked it a lot. I don't know if I loved it. Issue number 1 of this new Die storyline is a different kind of beast. I really enjoyed seeing how the characters who survived the first volume are covering up what happened. It's a Jumanji kind of a story, characters who were sucked into a game and figuratively and literally scarred by it or killed by it. And now they are trying to keep it secret. But of course, the game is a living entity. The game is a mischievous god, and it's looking for players and pulling them in. And so a new group is getting pulled into the game, and they're not just new in the sense that they've never been to die before, but they're new in the sense that they are related to the older players. So far, we've seen 2 characters get pulled in: the daughter, I believe, of one of the characters, and the spouse of another character. And instantly we are back in this. I use the word mischievous because it does seem to be not outright malicious, but certainly like a cat playing with a mouse that it caught. It is a powerful entity that seeks to be entertained, right? And so we have these people pulled in, and what that is going to mean for this new group of characters, and can some of our previous characters who survived go back? Do they want to? Are they interested in trying to save their loved ones, right? These are some of the bigger ideas that I think this Die Volume 2 Loaded is going to be delving into, right? As we kind of see them dealing with this stuff. Gambling on the UFC. I'm going to watch out for you, buddy. Tacoma Ian says it wasn't lovable, it was likable. It was a lot of setup for new readers, and I could see that. It does suffer a little bit from that issue 1, we need to catch people up kind of a thing. And the first issue, I mean, it's right behind me. Look, there's issue 1 and issue 20, right? And then over here, I've got another issue 1 variant. So they're all behind me here. Issue 1 of Die, the first volume, might be still one of my favorite issue 1s I've ever read. Like it is a phenomenal book, but it took me a while to read it and gain all the understanding, right? I read it when I first got it. I think I read it twice. And then I read it again and again and again as each new issue came out. And then I read it with the trades, and then I read it with the hardcover edition. So I have read that issue 1 a bunch. And it's possible that I just haven't read this new issue 1 enough. And that might be a little bit of what's holding me back on it. So just that might be something that I need to use to temper my review. But I would definitely give it a lower score to by comparison, for sure. Love the splash page, the callback to issue 1. There's a lot of great callbacks for sure. Enjoyed issue 1, curious where it goes. I'm assuming you mean the new issue 1, JP, but not the original, because I think you've read we read Die on your channel. We did it as a review. Got my man Rod in the chat. What is going on, Rod? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, when the wife opens the present and you're just like, oh, F word. Right? For sure. What's going on YouTube, Rod? Stay classy, my brother. He's been going live a bunch. If you haven't hit the notification bell on Rod's channel, you might be missing some great comic talk. The new issue 1. Okay, there you go. Bobby is in the chat. Hell yeah. What's going on, Bobby? Good to see you, my friend. Happy Saturday, buddy. I've also caught up on Lucky Devils, which is the, I don't want to say sequel to 8 Billion Genies, but it's the same creative team with their new story, Lucky Devils. And I've definitely been enjoying that one. Worth your time for certain. Everything Dead and Dying, I've been keeping up with that one. I don't know if it's for me. I know a lot of people absolutely love it. I'm not sold on Everything Dead is Dying yet, but it might be that I'm just tired of zombie books. So that one hasn't been hitting super high with me. The Escape is great, and I think that issue 4 comes out in the next couple of weeks. That's by Rick Remender. It's kind of a World War II adjacent anthropomorphic animal thing, but really good. I'm not caught up on the seasons. I need to catch up on that one. Let's see. So that's most of the indies I think I've been reading and catching up on. Most of the ones I've been looking at. Those are the indies. I've got a lot to read. On my to-read list, I've got the new volume of Bitterroot, Sacrificers. I want to catch up on that. I think I'm about 8 issues behind on Sacrificers. Let's see. The seasons. I started the seasons. I got like 3 issues in, and then I stopped thinking I would wait for the trade, and I believe they've wrapped that comic up. I heard everybody telling me that we're taking everyone down with us. I heard that that's a really great read. So that one's on my list to read. Minor Arcana by Jeff Lemire. I think I did half of that. I've got to finish that one. Jason Aaron's Bug Wars. I half liked it, but I want to finish it and see how it wraps up. Of course, The Moon is Following Us by Daniel Warren Johnson. I liked issue 1 a bunch, but I wanted to wait for it to wrap, and I do believe it's done now. So I can go and read the entirety of The Moon is Following Us. Look, Daniel Warren Johnson doesn't usually miss, right? I can't think of a book he's written that I've just really just hated. So I'm excited to see what this story does in the end. So I want to read that one. There's a book called The Unchosen, and there's a book called The Guy in the Chair, and I have not read any of those, but those are on my list. So those are my indie to be read. That's my indie TBR pile. It's quite lengthy, and it's probably going to be most of what I'm doing between now and January 1st, just to make sure that when I look back at 2025, I can at least look over the things I've enjoyed the most and make sure that I've gotten a little bit of everything. If there's something that I'm missing, definitely drop it in the chat or leave a comment later on. I'm happy to add to the list, because there's always it's an endless list, and I try to keep up, but some stuff either just completely doesn't interest me, or it's just not for me. It's not the kind of thing that I would want to read. So everybody's got their own taste when it comes to that stuff. I think I am pretty much done. So that is pretty much it. Next weekend, I will probably do a Saturday show and spin the wheel for November, because it's the 29th. It's basically the end of the month. So I will probably be spinning my members giveaway wheel next weekend. Again, I'm giving away a set of Spider-Man Life Story, all the issues for Spider-Man Life Story, great series. And I'll probably throw in some other variants as always. And the person will be able to pick from the wall of trade paperbacks, hopefully something that they want to read. There's some hardcovers in there as well. So there's some goodies to be given away. So that'll go to a channel member. So huge thank you to those folks that are supporting the channel, including the people that have been gifted memberships. I've come up with a new rule, and I'll mention it here in just a second. But yeah, we've got the new Comic Book Day Coalition. Let me get rid of my banners here. Where's that going? The folks that are keeping the StreamYard lights on for me, as I like to say. Absolutely thankful to these 3 individuals. And then, of course, my X-Men squad. Some of these folks at the bottom especially got gifted. So here's For Hire Matt. He's in the giveaway. Real James Willie, Legion of Comics, Hazu, Ryan Pratt, Aggressively Relaxing. They were all gifted memberships this month. And if they win the membership giveaway and don't reach out to me, or I can't get a hold of them, although most of these guys I know, I will gift the membership instead. I will gift the prize, to the person who gifted them the membership. So it's possible that if you gifted memberships, you'll win the prize even though you're not a channel member. So be ready for that. So that's a possibility, because like Hazu, I don't know that I've seen Hazu in one of my chats before. So if Hazu wins and I can't get a hold of him, that could go to the person who gifted him the membership. And lastly, my New Mutants. Perry is one of these. He's in the chat. So these folks I will spin twice and throw a couple of these names onto the big wheel, and hopefully one of them gets a shot at it, including my man Dio Wolf. He's in the chat. So just a new wrinkle I've added in there, right? So hooking some folks up with some goodies for next week when we do our channel member giveaway. Huge thank you, though, to everybody for hanging out today. If you clicked that link and hit the notification bell for for Bronze Age Nerds YouTube channel, it makes a big difference in letting them get awareness out for their auction for veterans later today. So much appreciated if you just took the time to do that, because I will be in that live stream and I'll be sharing it out. We want to make sure we get a lot of eyes in there, make sure they raise the most amount of money possible for Mission 22. Yeah, I may have slurred that a little. New Mutants. I'm going to be hanging around the house. I got a very light weekend. The only things I'm doing, I'm teaching Kate how to drive. So I'll be driving around, but I'll probably be listening to YouTube while I try to calm my nerves. But she's getting to be a pretty good driver. She practiced a lot. So she takes her driving test Monday. So we're just doing our last few practices of, little things that she's working on, calming her nerves, focusing so that she's ready for Monday. But that's most of my weekend. I'll be putting books away, organizing things, getting ready for next week, short work week. But obviously a lot of cooking and things happening at home. So I've got to get ready for all that stuff, clean the kitchen and everything. I hope everybody has a wonderful, safe holiday this next week, whether you're celebrating with family or enjoying something with friends or just going to the movies, because I hear there's some good movies coming out this next week as well. Because that's what I know my brother does. His family, they're not as big on Thanksgiving, so they go to the movies every year on Thanksgiving, which is awesome. It's a great way to spend the day with your family and do something that you enjoy. But either way, I hope you have a wonderful, safe weekend, and I'll catch you guys all in the chats. Peace.